Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Michelle for Expat Life Mexico, formerly Afro Expats. I know I haven't been here for a minute consistently. However, I have been earnestly working on Casa ELM and having this 1 year just fly by like this. I want to say that I'm super grateful for all the amazing people that have supported, that have come through to experience San Miguel de Allende in a way that is a little bit more specialized rather than being the lone traveler. We've been able to assist people who are interested in moving to San Miguel de Allende and also to Querétaro, which is the city that's next to San Miguel. It's approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour away from where we are. But first of all, I want to hit the formalities. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, but you are here regularly, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps just these efforts and all the work that goes into providing information for everyone. And also hit the like. If you enjoy the content in this video, please be sure to do that. My purpose here is to help people effectively move to San Miguel de Allende and also to Querétaro, which is located in central Mexico. Both of those cities where I live is San Miguel de Allende, and Querétaro again is about an hour away. We are here to help you effectively move. A part of the reason why I've decided to somewhat take on assisting with people who are interested in moving to Querétaro is because I've had several people who passed through this year our group programs, and basically they were interested in being in a bigger city. So I thought that it would make sense for us to add that on for anyone that might be interested in relocating to San Miguel, but still on the fence and not 100% sure, that we're also able to assist you with connecting with resources and things in both cities or both areas. There are people that are in Querétaro, and I know that they're developing groups online and things like that, so we'll be able to connect you with those groups. And also we have resources in Querétaro that will also assist with you looking for real estate or a rental place to buy, or just things in general, how to get around. So this series that I kind of sat down and have been thinking about for the last couple of weeks is to talk about everything Mexico in terms of living, the things that I think for me that are kind of coming to mind that are challenging, the fun things. Of course, you all know a lot of that. Life in Mexico is really beautiful and amazing. However, as with anywhere, it does come with a lot of challenges. So I decided that I would just, as things pop up, I'm going to put them on my little board, which is right behind me. That's why I'm looking up. And I'm just going to talk about them. So these videos will be just me talking about something that I've run into, or things that I find challenging and how I solve them. And I hope that they'll help you as well, or just things to think about when you're packing up your house and getting ready to move here. So let's jump right into it. Let's not waste a lot of time talking about what this is all about. So first of all, okay, so I want to talk about probably one of the things that hit me the most when I first moved here, and that was shopping at the grocery store. So I think I kind of went into, this is going to be today's topic, is grocery shopping or just shopping in general. Having had years of being in a lot of different Spanish settings, I thought I knew a lot. I spent over 10 years living in South Florida, mostly in Miami, and if anyone's been there, you know that there's mostly Spanish spoken in like anywhere that's considered Miami, like not necessarily Fort Lauderdale, but anywhere like heading south of Miramar and those areas south of Hollywood. Everyone really spoke Spanish. I worked in a Spanish-speaking establishment, and all the grocery stores I went to were Spanish-speaking, and also gas station. In addition to that, I had traveled a lot to South America and spent quite a few months studying, and I did Spanish in college. So in my mind, and also worked, like I said, for over 6 years in one of Gloria Estefan restaurant, and it was just all Spanish. All of my coworkers were Latinos, and it was an amazing experience. But in saying all of that, I think I came to Mexico thinking that I knew a lot of Spanish, so I felt that I knew enough to, you know, kind of navigate the day-to-day life and types of things like that. But when I went to the grocery store for the very first time, I was just like, holy moly, like everything is in Spanish, and finding products. Obviously, I can see an apple, I know it's an apple, right? But I remember having like just kind of this whole like mind shift of, oh, I need to understand what I'm buying. I need to know what it is that I'm picking up off the shelf, because a lot of the products are not recognizable by brand. And there are some things that are, but those are mostly in one aisle, that's the international aisle. And although I just want to say this before we dive into it, so people don't think they can't get the things that they need here, you can, but it's like figuring out what it is, it takes a little bit of time, because I think in the US, you know, and also here, but in the US, we're so used to the uniformity that we'll find in chain grocery stores or our neighborhood grocery store, or whatever it might be. But moving to Mexico, that very first 1 or 2 grocery trips for me, I was a little bit taken aback because I hadn't thought about it. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I got this. And I remember kind of needing to go up and down the aisles to look for just basic things like, okay, where's the mayonnaise? I was about to say mayonesa. Where's the mayo? The aisles that you would think it would be in, for example, in the US, we have ketchup and mayo, mustard, and all those things, I think, are pretty much in the same aisle, right? But I remember looking for these things, and for some reason, they were not in the same aisle. I was looking for mayo, I was looking for ketchup, and they were just in completely different aisles. I think barbecue sauce and ketchup were together. Mayo was in a whole nother area. I don't know why. I think maybe because of the different brands, they needed more shelf space. I have no idea. But I remember even seeing like Quaker Oats, the guy on the Quaker Oats brand, and I got super excited and I thought it was grits. So all of you on my channel, you know I'm always talking about grits. Well, being in the US, I wasn't even really like a huge fan of grits. It's just something I grew up having as a child. And then when I got here, I remember seeing that little symbol and I was just like, oh, grits. But no, it was oatmeal. I don't eat oatmeal. I don't like it. It's gooey. And yeah, okay, we're not talking about oatmeal today. But what I wanted to say is, you know, even going down the international aisle was really interesting because they had like a little bit of everything and then just stuff, you know, like Asian goods, but still kind of hard to read what is it, you know, like what exactly is it. It's just almost like going to an Asian supermarket where everything is still in its native language. They have like different teas and things like that, sauces, pastas and things like that, but that's the international aisle. And then you go over and there are several aisles that have beverages, and a lot of the brands are recognizable. Like there's Coke everywhere because Coca-Cola is very, you know, just like very prominent in Mexico. It's like everywhere. Coca-Cola sells a large part of the soda beverages and things like that, and even other things in Mexico. We won't get into that because I really think it's kind of sad that they make so much of their product here, and they could do a little bit more when it comes to clean water. But we're gonna move on, and then we have like the baking aisle, which has some recognizable things and then not. But I remember when I was looking for just like flour, and I did not know the word for flour, so I was like on my translator. So in saying that, it just took a while for me to find stuff, because then I had to look for something recognizable, right? So flour can be recognizable. I just didn't even know what aisle to go in. I didn't know what aisle to go in to get sugar. And, you know, for us, I can't even remember what did our sugar come in. I guess more like the flour packages, and here they come in flat, like plastic bags, like flat bags that you cut, almost kind of like a rice thing. Also, the sizes of things are a lot smaller, which is not a bad thing. But you know, in the U.S., where, you know, I don't want to buy rice like every other pot of rice that I cook. So I started really just going to Querétaro and going to Costco's to buy, you know, the big packages of basmati rice. So like the point is that having a whole language barrier, even if you can speak Spanish and you can ask people questions, I think it's still like learning basically relearning where to find things. For example, they have heavy cream, but it's called crema, and it comes in different forms. And I remember seeing like the containers for a long time and not really knowing what was the purpose of crema. And I like to cook sometimes with heavy cream if I'm making like a creamy tomato sauce or something like that. And I was always looking for it to say heavy cream, because there is one brand that they sell that does say heavy cream on it. And it is still, I think, a Mexican brand, but it's written in English, so it could be a U.S. brand, but I don't remember seeing this brand in the U.S. So anyway, it doesn't matter. The point simply is that looking for things like butter, you know, there are some recognizable products like yogurt products. I don't think there are any recognizable milk products. Why would there be, right? And then there's like an aisle with milk on the shelf in the little cartons, which I don't think that that's overly common in the U.S. unless it's like an almond milk or something like that. But like they literally have cow's milk in cartons and things on the shelves. So, and then there's so many different types as there are in the U.S. You know, in the U.S. we have skim, 1%, blah, 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 but everything here is in Spanish. So it's sort of like, which one is it, is the question. And sometimes what happens is, no, it's not as simple as typing it in the translator and showing it to someone, because the translation doesn't always come out the way you need it to come out. It's sometimes not very clear what exactly it is that you're asking for. So sometimes you'll get the blank stare, like, what was the recent thing that I was asking for? I remember one guy looked at me and he pointed me to one of the people that work there, and she spoke English, and she led me over to the international aisle. And I'm sorry, I just can't remember what it was, but it didn't seem like it would be in the international aisle, because it wasn't really an international. Oh, it was, well, it's not really international product, but I was looking for anchovies so I could make my own Caesar salad dressing, and it was all the way over in the international aisle versus the aisle that has canned fish products. So I wouldn't have gone over there, because it used to be in the canned fish aisle, because wouldn't that make more sense? But I guess if it comes internationally, then it's going to be over there depending on what's available. What are some of the other food kind of challenges? Just finding like ingredients for specialty things, you know, for example, coconut milk would also be in the international aisle. However, the quality of it isn't great. So maybe you would have to then take a trip to like Asian supermarket, which I don't think there are any in San Miguel, but there are a few in Querétaro. So I do sometimes go to Querétaro to just do like my picking up items that I can't find here. So yeah, it sounds like it's not for the faint at heart. There's a lot you can live without, but you know, if you like to cook, which I do, there are certain items that are worth my driving to go get them. I don't do this often, but I probably drive to Querétaro to shop maybe once every 6 to 8 weeks, you know, to load up on things that I need. There's City Market here, which is absolutely fantastic and fabulous. It has a lot of stuff. I used to go to Querétaro. I used to go to HEB, which is a Texas-owned or Texas chain as well, grocery store. And I used to buy like Dr. Bronner's and some Shea Moisture products and things like that. They actually sell these products and things now at City Market, which is right here in town. So I don't have to go to Querétaro for that if I run out. What else do I like to get? I bring my own curries from the United States, not Thai curries, but Jamaican curries. So if you like stuff like this, you really do need to consider bringing your own. If there's specific seasonings that you use maybe for, you know, soul food cooking, we've had several people pass through that, you know, either, hi Miss Gloria, owned a soul food restaurant, and you know, there are just certain things that maybe that are harder to find. I think I bought a can of Old Bay here once, but I don't remember if it was here or if I brought it. I'm pretty sure that I bought it here. I've been able to find the what is the name of that brand? Ooh, I think it's called Bahia or Baja, I believe. Anyway, they have like Cajun seasonings, they have cayenne pepper, and then they sell a lot of other things. There is a store in Central called Bonanza, and at that store they have like these giant containers of spices that they will help you, you know, scoop up and put in like a plastic bag, and they'll just ask you like, how much of it do you want? I know that store for sure sells a lot of specialty kind of items. I have not been in there for probably over a year or a year and a half, because when it was COVID, you know, we were like trying to find all the stuff so we could cook and bake at home. And now, you know, that we have a little bit more freedom to move around the world, I've had my mom bring a lot of things down for me. So I just wanted to talk about that. So with La Comer, which is our local grocery store, and also City Market, along with those two more, you know, product-oriented type shops or stores, not shops, you can pretty much kind of balance out what you need. Now, in regard to like other things, for example, buying cheeses, I honestly think it's worth, if you really love cheese and you want specialty cheeses, City Market has everything, right? But at a very high end price. La Comer also has a great selection of cheeses, meats and things, like if you wanted to make a charcuterie board and things like that. Now, but what I wanted to say is there are also some other smaller shops in town, for example, like Luna de Queso, which sells a lot of like really specialty items, and it's a much smaller kind of a gourmet grocery store. It's really tiny, but they have, you know, carved out their niche of what they offer, and I'm sure that, you know, it's being supported. They have a lot of products that are vegan, you know, packaged frozen vegan things, but they also have like olives, and they have different cheeses and different meats that you can, you know, get, and things like that, like prosciutto and salamis, and these things are a little bit more, little higher end. And also they have a little restaurant in the back, and it's a great place for people to go and hang out and co-work if they want. They do have like, you know, a breakfast and lunch menu, I believe. What other places? Okay, so then there's also Mercado Sano, why can't I get that out? Mercado Sano, which is an organic place. I have not been in there for a really long time. I did go in there briefly. It was like a beeline in, but prior to that, I had not been in there for a minute, and it's only because I just feel like it's one of those places where it's a little overpriced and it's a little overrated, in my opinion. It is very nice, you know, on the weekends they have like flowers and whatever, but I don't know, for some reason the notoriety, if that's the right word, it wore off for me after a while, like after living here. And I really enjoy going to more of the local things. On Tuesdays and Sundays, there's a market that is close to La Lucianaga Plaza, and it's amazing. You know, there's a lot of local products there that you can get at local prices, and I just enjoy that. I know exactly where I want to go. I get my fresh fish. I get my vegetables and my fruits, which are super, super, super affordable. I also buy stuff for my dog. Like I'll buy chicken. I know it sounds very spoiled, but I do buy like a whole chicken, and then I'll strip it down and boil it. And you know, I find that the pricing at places like this are way more fair, and I enjoy supporting, you know, the local mom and pop places and these vendors that take their time to drive from wherever they live to set up on Tuesdays and Sundays. So that's pretty much kind of the type of shopping that I do, which is still all over the place, because if I need something from La Camera and I know they have it, I'm gonna go there and I'll get it. But I try to support what's around me, including the like fruit stands and the fruit and vegetable stands that are called fruterias. And yeah, you can get so much. You know, I bought a giant bag, probably this big, this wide, full of fruits. You know, you're not gonna have any frills. There's nothing fancy. They literally put, you know, the heavy stuff on the bottom until it's stacked up to the top. And I bought passion fruit, bananas, limes, mangoes, pears, these little plum looking things. I don't know what they're called. I got onions, poblano peppers, a couple cucumbers, a couple avocados, tomatoes, and all this stuff, and a few dried goods. And I probably spent, I think it was like 12 US dollars ish. And this is a place that's really close to me, so I just do that. And again, the same pricing you would get that at the markets. Same with the seafood. You know, yes, you can go to the grocery stores, and I really think that they're pricing at La Camera and even at City Market for fresh fish and meat and things like that. They're still extremely, extremely reasonable compared to the United States. I recently picked up 8 whole snappers, and I don't know how much they weighed individually, but I got 8 of them for around 26 US dollars, and they were good sizes. You know, they weren't like 2-pounders or anything, but they were probably like about a pound, maybe a pound and a quarter, something like that. And they cleaned and scaled them. I have to say this, okay, this video is getting really long, but I'm just gonna keep talking until I get it all out. I have to say this, that they don't clean their fish here unless you ask them to. So just so you don't get caught off guard where you know, you don't know this and you get home and you're ready to cook, maybe, because I've had this happen to me where I was ready to cook my salmon, and it was a big fillet of salmon and it wasn't scaled, and I was just like, oh my God, like, but, and you know, scaling a fish, well, scaling salmon is not as hard as scaling snapper. I've had that happen to me in the US. So just saying, like, for example, if you buy fish from Costco's, forget about it. You're gonna have to scale it yourself. If you buy fish from the market, they'll do it for you, but you have to ask them. So, you know, in the chitter chatter sometimes with these guys, I'm just like, wait a minute, okay, they did not scale that fish. Okay, you know, you gotta ask them to do it. And yeah, it's just not a norm. And I've purchased fish in the past at fish markets, and it's kind of the norm that they clean the fish That's like a part of the process, and there's like a little tip jar for you to tip them. Here, no. I don't remember what this guy was trying to say to me one time. I don't know if he was trying to say they taste good or what. I was just like, bro, please scale the fish. It's just disgusting. Because like when I start scaling them at home, they fly all over the place, and it's really hard to get. I mean, they're scales, right? Because they stick to the skin of the fish. So it's hard to get that stuff cleaned up, and you just don't want to have to deal with that when you're ready to cook the fish. I don't want to do that. So just saying, a little piece of advice. I wanted to also add shopping and buying at butchers. So what I've noticed around town is there are like butchers who specialize in just chicken. There are some who specialize in like chorizo, which is sausages, you know, maybe made of pork, maybe some that do both. There are butchers who specialize in beef, and then there are butchers who have everything. So what's a recent food experience that I had? Okay, let's just talk about the butcher that's not too far from my house. And I like going there because they, again, are, in my opinion, more like a local, you know, meat place. And it's really a lot to absorb because I wasn't eating meat for a really long time. And so, you know, the smells just kind of hit you. And then just the way things are done, it's very different. So I'm going to share this with you. It's not a criticism. It's more of like letting you know what to expect. So in saying that, they sell oxtails, which has become such a hit at some of our dinners. And the prices are incredibly affordable. I mean, let's keep that real quiet and down low because I don't want the prices to start skyrocketing on oxtails, even at City Market. So City Market packages them very pretty in the vacuum pack, and you can get a kilo of oxtails for about 160 pesos, which is about $7, and that's not bad. So that's about $3.50 or something like that for 1 pound, more or less. Okay. For all of those who know the difference in kilos and pounds, don't judge me, because I know that's like my halving it and just kind of guessing a little bit. So in saying all of that, the butcher, you know, I've had some moments here with meat where I'm just like, okay, what is that? So the first time years ago when my dad and his wife first came, and my brother from Canada and his my 3 nephews were here, and I went in and I did not know what oxtail, again, I didn't know the translation for oxtail, so I just typed oxtails and it came out rabo de bui. I don't know what that means, but I showed it to them and they knew what I was talking about. And then they came downstairs, like, again, to my surprise, because I wasn't expecting this. And of course it makes oxtails. They came down, but it was like the whole tail frozen. And it just, like, you know, the way they carried it down this like drop down ladder thing, I guess upstairs was like their freezer or something. I have no idea. I was just like, my eyeballs were just like, what? Whoa. Because I've always seen it packaged nice, chopped up already in the store. So I was just a little in shock, and I was kind of like taken aback because that was, you know, a few years ago when I was not eating meat, and I am gonna say I eat meat now. It's very you know, monitored, but I do eat it occasionally. But in saying all of that, I was very shocked to see it this way. Another butcher experience was when I went to the one up the street, and I was very interested in getting like lamb chunks that I could curry, because we used to make curried lamb back in Florida years and years ago, and it always came out tender and delicious. It's even easier to make curried lamb than it is to make curried goat. I don't like curry goat, but I can deal with curry lamb. I haven't had it here. I haven't purchased any lamb here, but I went to the butcher and I asked them, do you have lamb, you know, like the pieces of lamb? I don't know if I gave her a specific cut, and it wouldn't have mattered, because when she came back out, she literally came with the whole animal frozen. It looked like a reindeer, like she was carrying a skinned reindeer. And it just scared me so much. I was just like, I didn't know how to react. Okay, so again, there's nothing wrong with any of these things. It was just, it's a cultural thing where I wasn't expecting it, and I was kind of like, okay. I thought she was going to show me, like, you know, some cut up pieces, because in their display case, they have like a lot of cut up pieces of things like beef and chicken and even shrimp and whatever. So I think I just was expecting this, but maybe because maybe they roast the whole lamb here, like if they were to roast a pig or something, I don't know. But I wasn't expecting that. And the way she was carrying it, it looked like she was carrying a reindeer that had been skinned and put in the freezer as is. So needless to say, I did not get the lamb. But in saying all of that, it's definitely challenging because the translation doesn't always come out right. Things don't always look the way we're used to seeing them at the grocery store necessarily. And I say us, meaning if we're used to shopping at, you know, Publix or Stop and Shop or any, you know, Trader Joe's or any of like these, you know, cutesy, very nice supermarkets, that we also have amazing supermarkets. But if you go to like the local mom and pop butchers or the local butchers period, or you go to a local store, you know, the presentation is not necessarily the thing. You know, it's just kind of like, here, you got it, and the service is great, and they pretty much have what you want. You just have to know what it is and what it's called. Like I even asked for short ribs. The first time I asked for short ribs, which was I don't remember, a couple months ago, one of my friends here, Anne Marie, she made some short ribs and let me taste them. And I was like, oh, these are delicious. And I had not had short ribs for a few years, and just kind of inspired my taste buds to get some and try it myself. And she sent me the recipe. And so I said, oh, next time I go to the butcher, I'm going to ask them if they have short ribs. Well, for the life of me and them, I did not get short ribs that first time. They gave me chunks of pork, and I knew it was pork. And I kept asking her, and she's so sweet because I see the same girl all the time, and she always says bye, because this might be the English word that she's most comfortable with, and then me and my little bit of Spanish or whatever. But she's super sweet. It's the cashier, and she was just like, yeah, this is beef. And I was just like, no, it's pale. It's like, you know, it's definitely not short ribs, because ribs have bones, and these are just chunks of meat. Anyway, Ziggy was very happy because Ziggy got that. I didn't eat it. I just boiled it in water and gave it to him. And the next time I went, and I realized, I don't remember how I figured it out, but I think I went online and it came up. I want to say it was Castilla or Castillo or something like this. That and then I found a picture. That's what it was. So another effective way to communicate is body language and photos. So I showed the butcher, one of the guys, a photo, and he's like, oh, and he went in the back, who knows, whatever, and then he came back out. So we did figure that out, and I think I wrote it down in my phone, which I'm using to record this, so I can't tell you the exact name right now. But and then the last thing I wanted to say, back to the oxtails, was that they have different names for it, but I figured out how to get it. And what's also interesting is sometimes it comes out where they just chop the tail in like 3 parts, and it's like a package that's like this, and then you just ask them to cut it to a certain size, and they'll do that for you. So it's definitely doable, possible to get practically anything here, but be patient with the process. The lines and aisles are different, or the aisles in the store take a little bit of, you know, adjusting to if you're just coming from the United States. They have Walmart here. I don't shop at Walmart. It's not, okay, we won't even talk about Walmart. They have several Walmarts in Karencita, so if you ever get there and you want to shop at Walmart, then just go check it out. They have a lot of stuff, and it does look similar, but they have a lot of things too that we don't have in the United States. but there's pretty much anything. I would say the things that we can't get here, you know, there's a substitute for. So that's it. That's Michelle for Expat Life Mexico, coming to you from San Miguel de Allende. Please hit the subscribe button. And if you really enjoyed this video, hit like, because there will be more videos about life in Mexico, some of the things that are challenging, some of the extremely cool, fun things that I talk about as well. We'll have people on to talk about their new experiences or old experiences or experiences, period, throughout Mexico. I'll be talking some more to you about different topics. For example, I'm looking up banking, immigration, travel, finding special products, which we sort of talked about that, but other products like stuff for hair. We're going to talk about hair at some point, and communication, things like that. So I just want to, and also just living here in general. So we'll cover a lot of different things, and I intend for these videos to be a little shorter, but if I just like have stuff that I'm experiences that I want to share with you, I'm just gonna let it rock and roll. Okay, so thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will be back at you on the next video. Ciao.